In the sacred flow of life, every heart is drawn to the vibrations that match its own. When we consider the norms that govern relationships, it is not merely society that whispers the rules, but the unseen guidance of the infinite spirit. It is through our alignment with divine law that our choices in love, partnership, and commitment become effortless, and every decision we make regarding our shared lives becomes a manifestation of the highest good. The very nature of relationships is a mirror. It reflects back to us the thoughts, beliefs, and expectations we hold within. To understand the patterns of love and the currents that steer human connections, we must first recognize that every individual is an expression of the universal mind, deserving of respect, understanding, and compassion. Big life decisions are not to be approached with fear or hesitation, for fear is the only thing that clouds judgment and invites disharmony. When we face crossroads in relationships, whether it is the decision to marry, to unite in business and life, to relocate, or to welcome children into our sphere, we are guided by the spirit within. This inner guidance speaks softly, but persistently, directing us toward choices that honor our purpose and elevate our consciousness. Every choice is an opportunity to express courage, faith, and the power of our spoken word, for our words carry a vibration that shapes the reality we encounter. By speaking affirmatively, with clarity and certainty, we magnetize the circumstances and companions that resonate with the highest ideals of love, loyalty, and shared growth. It is important to understand that relationships are not to be forced into conformity, nor are they to be judged by the fleeting standards of others. Each partnership is a sacred union of energies, and it thrives only when nurtured by patience, understanding, and mutual respect. Expectations and societal norms are helpful only when they serve as reminders to honor integrity and moral truth, rather than as chains that restrict the natural unfolding of life. Big decisions, therefore, must be made from a place of quiet inner knowing, a stillness in which the voice of spirit becomes unmistakable. When we align our minds with this inner certainty, the universe conspires in our favor, bringing forth people, opportunities, and circumstances that reflect our highest good. Harmony in relationships is cultivated through conscious thought and deliberate action. Every small choice, every word spoken in love, contributes to the grand design of our lives. To act with integrity and clarity in matters of the heart is to participate consciously in the dance of destiny. Those who honor the natural laws of life and love find that the seemingly impossible becomes possible, and every major decision, no matter how daunting, becomes an opportunity for joy, expansion, and spiritual growth. The principles of trust, faith, and unwavering positivity guide us through the complex maze of relational norms and life-altering decisions, revealing the sacred path that is uniquely ours. Keynote number 1. Align all relationship choices with the inner guidance of the spirit. Every choice we make in relationships is a reflection of the inner state of our mind, and when the mind is attuned to the spirit, it becomes a channel through which guidance flows effortlessly. The spirit is the silent director of life, whispering to the soul through intuition, inner knowing, and subtle impressions that cannot be ignored by those who have learned to listen. Alignment with this inner guidance requires a conscious decision to trust the unseen and to release the need for external validation or the opinions of others. When a person is in harmony with spirit, every relationship choice, whether it concerns friendship, romantic involvement, family, or business partnerships, becomes illuminated by wisdom that surpasses human understanding. The first step in aligning with the spirit is to quiet the mind, to create a space in which the soul can speak freely. In this stillness, the heart recognizes truth and discerns between choices that are inspired by fear, desire, or ego, and those that are informed by the wisdom of the infinite. The mind is often cluttered with past experiences, social conditioning, and personal preferences, but the spirit communicates through clarity, simplicity, and an inner sense of peace. Decisions made from this place of alignment are never hurried. They are considered with patience, and they resonate with a feeling of inevitability, as though the choice is not made by the self but revealed by a higher intelligence. When we align with spirit, we begin to understand that relationships are not mere coincidences or happenstances. Every person we encounter is a reflection of our own consciousness and a messenger from the divine. Some are meant to teach, some to love, some to guide, and some to challenge us in ways that foster growth. The Spirit orchestrates these encounters with perfect timing, and when we pay attention to its guidance, we attract companions who resonate with our highest good. This requires discernment, for not every connection is permanent or intended to remain in our lives forever. By listening to the quiet, inner voice, we are able to recognize which relationships serve our soul's evolution and which must be released without regret or resistance. To follow the Spirit's guidance, we must also practice self-honesty. It is easy to rationalize choices based on desire, social expectation, or fear of loneliness, yet these choices are rarely aligned with divine guidance. Spirit invites us to look beyond surface appearances and to examine the motivations behind every decision. When we act from a place of integrity, guided by truth rather than impulse, we participate in the co-creation of life in a manner that is harmonious and constructive. The Spirit communicates through feelings of alignment, peace, and certainty, and it never pressures, manipulates, or induces anxiety. By cultivating sensitivity to these subtle signals, we develop an intuitive wisdom that becomes the compass by which all major life decisions are directed. Another essential aspect of alignment is the use of affirmations and conscious thought. Words are powerful instruments of creation, and when we declare our intentions in alignment with Spirit, we set in motion a chain of events that bring forth relationships of the highest quality. By affirming love, respect, and divine guidance, we magnetize circumstances that match these vibrations. This does not mean forcing outcomes or controlling others, but rather creating an internal state that is receptive to the highest possibilities. The Spirit responds to such alignment, opening doors to encounters that would otherwise remain hidden, providing clarity in moments of doubt and offering reassurance when the heart wavers. Trust is central to this alignment. Often the mind wishes to see proof, to control the timing, or to understand all the steps ahead. Yet the Spirit calls for faith in the unseen. By surrendering the need to control, we allow the natural flow of life to bring forth relationships that are both nurturing and purposeful. It is through this trust that we avoid entanglements that are discordant or damaging, and instead we are guided to partnerships that reflect mutual respect, love, and shared vision. Each decision, when made in alignment with Spirit, strengthens our confidence in our inner knowing and deepens our connection to the divine source that orchestrates all things. It is also necessary to cultivate patience in this process, for divine timing is often different from human expectation. Many are tempted to rush into decisions out of urgency or anxiety, yet the Spirit's guidance is always timely. By waiting for clarity, by listening to the subtle nudges of intuition, and by honoring the still small voice within, we avoid choices that would lead to conflict or disappointment. Patience allows the unfolding of circumstances in their proper sequence, revealing opportunities that are perfectly suited to our highest good. The alignment with Spirit transforms the act of choosing into a sacred practice, where every consideration, every thought, and every feeling is weighed in the balance of divine wisdom. When we practice this alignment consistently, a remarkable shift occurs in our relationships. We find that conflict diminishes, understanding deepens, and connections flourish naturally. The guidance of Spirit illuminates the path of harmonious interaction, teaching us when to speak and when to remain silent, when to give and when to receive, and when to act and when to wait. Life begins to flow with greater ease, for the Spirit is ever present, ever guiding, and ever supportive of our highest expression of love, wisdom, and integrity. The alignment with Spirit also brings discernment regarding the choices of heart and the commitments we undertake. We become aware of patterns that no longer serve us, and we are guided gently away from entanglements that hinder growth. Every action, every decision, becomes an opportunity to express divine wisdom, to cultivate love, and to reflect the higher consciousness within us. In this way, alignment is not a passive waiting, but an active engagement with the inner laws that govern life. an ongoing conversation between the soul and the divine that shapes not only our relationships, but the entirety of our experience. Keynote number 2. Speak affirmatively and with clarity to magnetize harmonious circumstances. The words we speak are not idle sounds. They are the creative forces by which we shape our world. Every syllable carries a vibration, a power that attracts or repels experiences, people, and circumstances. When we speak affirmatively and with clarity, we align ourselves with the divine currents of life, allowing harmony, prosperity, and love to flow into our reality. It is important to understand that speech is not merely an expression of thought, but the instrument through which unseen forces are drawn to manifest our desires. Clarity of speech is clarity of intention, and clarity of intention is a reflection of alignment with the spirit. When the mind is certain and the heart is steadfast, the words that flow forth become magnets for the highest good, creating relationships and circumstances that reflect truth, joy, and fulfillment. Affirmative speech is the language of faith. When we declare our intentions with confidence, we are not wishing or hoping, we are announcing a reality that the spirit already recognizes. The universe responds to statements made with absolute conviction, for the law of attraction is always listening, always acting, and always faithful. To speak affirmatively is to acknowledge that all good is already present and that the circumstances we desire are on their way to manifestation. Negativity, doubt, hesitatio, and complaint, on the other hand, create friction in this divine process, clouding the mind, disturbing the heart, and attracting outcomes that are less than ideal. Therefore, mastery of speech is mastery of life, for it governs the flow of energy that shapes our external experience. Clarity in speech also requires honesty and precision. Vague or uncertain words dilute the power of our declarations, while clear and specific statements direct energy with unerring accuracy. When we articulate our desires, our intentions, or even our boundaries with clarity, we create a precise blueprint that the unseen forces can follow. This applies not only to our personal aspirations but also to the quality of our relationships. By expressing ourselves clearly, we prevent misunderstanding, reduce confusion, and invite partners, friends, and colleagues to respond in ways that support mutual growth and understanding. The spirit delights in clarity, for it allows action to be taken without obstruction, ensuring that the harmony we seek is brought into tangible form. Another essential aspect of affirmative speech is the cultivation of positivity in tone and content. Words spoken with love, gratitude, and faith carry a higher vibration, attracting circumstances that mirror these qualities. It is not enough to simply state desires. The words must be infused with feeling, conviction, and belief. A declaration spoken with the heart in alignment with the mind becomes a living force, capable of transforming relationships, opening doors, and resolving challenges. Conversely, words born of fear, anger, or resentment act as magnets for disharmony, confusion, and obstacles, for they communicate a vibration that the universe mirrors in the external world. By choosing our words consciously, we harness the power to shape reality, rather than be shaped by circumstance. Consistency in affirmative speech is crucial. Occasional statements of faith are insufficient if contradicted by repeated expressions of doubt or complaint. The mind, like a field, must be sown consistently with seeds of affirmation, for these seeds grow and attract similar energies. Every conversation, every declaration, and even the silent words thought within the mind contribute to this magnetism. By cultivating a habitual practice of clear, affirmative speech, we train both ourselves and the universe to recognize and respond to the patterns of harmony we seek. This practice develops a confidence in life's unfolding, a trust in the unseen, and a clarity of direction that makes all big life decisions easier, simpler, and more joyous. Speaking affirmatively also serves as a tool for self-empowerment and personal transformation. Often, individuals find themselves in situations that feel chaotic or limiting, yet the spoken word has the power to lift them into higher states of consciousness. By declaring one's worth, one's capacity for love, and one's openness to divine guidance, the individual transforms the vibration within and without. Relationships respond in kind, circumstances shift, and doors previously closed begin to open. The Spirit works through these words, aligning external reality with internal truth, creating a seamless flow between thought, speech, and manifestation. It is vital to understand that clarity and affirmation are not attempts to control others or to impose will externally. They are expressions of alignment with universal principles, a demonstration of faith in the natural order, and a recognition that the power of creation resides within the mind and speech of the individual. Words that are spoken in harmony with Spirit act as keys, unlocking doors that were once inaccessible, attracting people who resonate with our vibration, and repelling situations that are misali. With our highest good, each word becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of life, painting a picture that reflects both our inner state and our alignment with divine purpose. By practicing affirmative and clear speech, we cultivate an inner atmosphere of faith, courage, and serenity. Decisions, especially those that affect relationships and life's major milestones, are guided by this inner atmosphere. When words are infused with clarity and positivity, the Spirit moves through life in perfect rhythm with our intentions, ensuring that opportunities arise at the right moment and that relationships unfold in ways that support growth, understanding, and shared happiness. The magnetism created by affirmative speech becomes a force field of protection, attraction, and alignment, surrounding the individual with circumstances and companions that mirror the inner state of clarity, faith, and harmonious intention. Keynote number 3. Approach big life decisions from faith, not fear, trusting divine law. Life is a series of crossroads, and at each junction we are called upon to make decisions that have the power to shape our destiny. Big life decisions, whether related to love, career, family, or personal growth, require a consciousness that is attuned to faith rather than fear. Fear clouds judgment, distorts perception, and attracts experiences that mirror uncertainty and limitation. Faith, on the other hand, aligns the mind with the invisible currents of divine law, opening the way for inspiration, guidance, and opportunities that are perfectly suited to our highest good. Trusting in this law means recognizing that every circumstance, every person, and every event is orchestrated by a greater intelligence, and that by aligning with this intelligence we can make choices that lead to joy, abundance, and fulfillment. The first principle of faith in decision-making is the understanding that the Spirit within is always guiding, always providing, and always protective. When we step into faith, we acknowledge that there is an order and purpose beyond human comprehension. This does not mean that life becomes devoid of challenges or responsibilities. Rather, it means that each choice is made from a perspective of confidence that the outcome is directed by wisdom far greater than our own. Fear, in contrast, arises from a perception of separation, from the illusion that we must navigate life alone, unaided by invisible forces. By replacing fear with faith, we invite clarity, courage, and divine support into every decision, allowing us to act with confidence and integrity. Faith requires the surrender of the need to control every detail of the outcome. Often, the mind seeks certainty, wishing to foresee every step, predict every obstacle, and calculate every result. This desire for control is born of fear and can lead to paralysis, indecision, or the attraction of circumstances that confirm doubt. Divine law operates on principles far beyond human calculation, and by trusting its wisdom, we allow life to unfold in ways that are perfectly timed and aligned with our purpose. Surrender does not mean passivity. It means active cooperation with the flow of life, making decisions informed by guidance, intuition, and the inner sense of rightness, while releasing attachment to rigid expectations. Another key aspect of faith is the cultivation of inner quiet and receptivity. The mind must be still in order to hear the subtle voice of Spirit. Meditation, reflection, and prayer are not mere rituals, but channels through which guidance is received. In this stillness, the heart recognizes truth, discernment becomes clear, and the courage to act emerges naturally. Decisions made from this place of inner alignment carry a resonance that is unmistakable, a sense of certainty, peace, and inevitability. Fear cannot coexist with this resonance, for it is drowned out by the clarity of faith and the assurance of divine timing. Big life decisions are also guided by the awareness that each choice carries energetic consequences. Every action, thought, and word influences the unfolding of life, and divine law ensures that the effects of our decisions reflect the vibration we emit. Fear-based decisions attract limitation, resistance, and conflict, while faith-based decisions attract harmony, opportunity, and alignment with our highest potential. By consciously choosing faith, we set into motion a chain of events that draws to us the people, circumstances, and resources that support our intentions. This process requires vigilance over our mental and emotional state, for doubt, worry, or anxiety can cloud the clarity needed to recognize and act upon guidance. Trusting divine law also involves patience, for the answers to significant decisions may not be immediately apparent. Often we are tempted to force results or rush into choices to relieve discomfort or uncertainty. Faith teaches that divine timing is perfect, and that each moment unfolds in exact sequence to reveal the highest good. By maintaining patience and openness, we allow life to provide the insight, opportunities, and confirmation needed to act confidently. The Spirit communicates subtly through feelings of rightness, synchronistic events, and a sense of inner alignment, and it is in these signs that we find assurance to move forward. Courage is an essential companion to faith. Big decisions often involve risk, change, and the stepping into the unknown. Fear seeks to immobilize, to highlight potential failure, and to magnify obstacles. Faith, however, transforms risk into opportunity, uncertainty into adventure, and challenge into a teaching moment. By embracing courage grounded in trust, we step forward with clarity and confidence, knowing that divine law governs the outcome, and that every decision made in alignment with Spirit contributes to our growth, happiness, and ultimate fulfillment. Faith also manifests in the choice to act with integrity and honesty. Decisions rooted in fear may compromise moral principles, manipulate others, or seek advantage at the expense of higher good. Faith ensures that choices are guided by values, ethical clarity, and a commitment to harmony. The Spirit always responds to integrity, opening doors that honor both the self and others, and aligning circumstances to support outcomes that are mutually beneficial and uplifting. By trusting in this principle, we avoid decisions that would later require correction or compromise, and we cultivate a life that reflects the highest ideals of love, wisdom, and divine order. Finally, approaching life decisions from faith strengthens the inner connection to the Spirit and builds confidence in the unseen guidance that permeates all existence. Each decision made in this manner reinforces trust, deepens alignment, and develops an intuitive wisdom that becomes a reliable compass for all future choices. The practice of faith transforms decision-making from a source of anxiety into an opportunity for empowerment, self-discovery, and co-creation with the divine forces that govern life, demonstrating that fear is never necessary when the mind and heart are attuned to the law of Spirit. Keynote number 4. Honor integrity, patience, and mutual respect over societal expectations. Life presents us with countless pressures from society, tradition, and external opinion. Yet the path of true fulfillment is found in honoring integrity, patience, and mutual respect above all else. Relationships are sacred unions of energy, and their success depends not on conforming to the demands of the boudoir, but on maintaining alignment with principles that elevate the spirit and nurture harmony. Integrity is the foundation upon which all meaningful connections are built, for it ensures that every action, thought, and word reflects truth, honesty, and moral clarity. When individuals act with integrity, they radiate a consistent vibration that attracts others of similar frequency, creating bonds that are authentic, enduring, and mutually supportive. Integrity is not merely adherence to rules or appearances, but a commitment to living in alignment with the inner truth and the guidance of Spirit. Patience is the second essential quality that fosters harmony in relationships and guides decision-making. Society often promotes haste, immediate gratification, and the pressure to conform to timelines imposed by others. Yet the divine rhythm of life operates on a perfect schedule, and impatience can lead to choices that are misaligned with our highest good. Patience allows us to observe circumstances with clarity, discern the true character and intentions of others, and wait for the unfolding of opportunities in their proper sequence. It is a form of trust in the unseen forces that govern life, an acknowledgement that everything has its proper time and place. By cultivating patience, we prevent hasty actions, avoid unnecessary conflict, and allow relationships to mature naturally, guided by wisdom and understanding rather than external pressure. Mutual respect is the third cornerstone of meaningful relationships. Every individual is a unique expression of the divine, worthy of honor, dignity, and consideration. By practicing respect, we recognize the inherent value of others, listening attentively, validating feelings, and acting with fairness. Mutual respect ensures that decisions, compromises, and agreements are made in a spirit of cooperation rather than coercion. And it fosters an environment in which love, trust, and understanding can flourish. When respect is present, even challenges and disagreements are handled with grace, and solutions arise that honor both parties while maintaining harmony. The spirit always supports actions taken in respect, for they reflect the higher law of love and alignment with the natural order of life. Societal expectations, though often well-intentioned, are not always aligned with the highest good of the individual or the relationship. Conforming blindly to norms, traditions, or the opinions of others can lead to compromise of values, misalignment with personal truth, and a sense of inner conflict. While it is wise to consider guidance and counsel from trusted sources, ultimate authority rests within, guided by intuition, inner knowing, and the principles of integrity, patience, and respect. When choices are made with these principles in mind, the path forward is illuminated, and obstacles that might have arisen from societal pressures are transformed into opportunities for clarity, courage, and discernment. Honoring integrity, patience, and mutual respect requires self-awareness and conscious practice. It involves examining motivations, observing habitual patterns, and choosing actions that align with the inner sense of rightness, rather than with fleeting approval or fear of judgment. Integrity demands honesty in speech and conduct. Patience requires restraint and trust in divine timing, and respect calls for empathy and consideration of the other's perspective. These qualities are not passive ideals, but active expressions of alignment with the spirit, shaping not only relationships but all areas of life in a harmonious and uplifting manner. When integrity, patience, and mutual respect are honored over societal expectations, relationships become sacred laboratories of growth and learning. Conflicts are navigated with wisdom, love deepens through understanding, and partnerships evolve in a manner that supports both individual and collective advancement. Life decisions, whether about marriage, family, business partnerships, or relocation, are approached with clarity and confidence, knowing that the outcome will reflect the highest good when guided by these principles. The power of such alignment extends beyond immediate circumstances, influencing long-term happiness, personal growth, and spiritual evolution. It is important to recognize that this practice requires courage, for the world often values conformity over authenticity. Choosing integrity may invite criticism, practicing patience may be misunderstood as passivity, and exercising mutual respect may not always be reciprocated by those guided solely by self-interest or societal norms. Yet the Spirit rewards consistent adherence to these principles, guiding circumstances and relationships toward alignment with truth, harmony, and higher purpose. Courage in this context is the willingness to remain steadfast in principle despite external pressures, trusting that the universe supports decisions rooted in spiritual alignment and ethical clarity. The cultivation of these qualities also strengthens intuition and inner guidance. When the mind and heart are aligned with integrity, patience, and respect, discernment becomes sharper, and the ability to perceive opportunities, avoid pitfalls, and navigate complex relational dynamics is enhanced. These principles serve as an internal compass, directing the individual toward relationships, decisions, and life paths that resonate with the highest good. By consistently honoring them, one develops a sense of inner authority, a confidence in judgment, and a capacity for grace under pressure that ensures both personal and relational success. Ultimately, prioritizing integrity, patience, and mutual respect over societal expectations creates a life and relationships infused with harmony, trust, and spiritual alignment. Decisions are made from a place of clarity rather than anxiety. Actions are taken from love rather than obligation, and interactions are guided by understanding rather than conformity. This approach ensures that every choice, whether minor or monumental, contributes to a tapestry of life that is coherent, uplifting, and in harmony with divine law, providing a foundation upon which love, prosperity, and fulfillment naturally flourish. Keynote number 5. Recognize that every word, thought, and action shapes the destiny of relationships. Every word spoken, every thought entertained, and every action taken carries a creative force that directly influences the quality and direction of our relationships. Life is a mirror, and the energy we emit returns to us in kind, shaping the circumstances, opportunities, and connections we encounter. To recognize this truth is to awaken to the profound responsibility we bear for the realities we attract. Words are not merely expressions of intention, they are living vibrations that travel through the unseen currents of life, summoning experiences and people that reflect their nature. Thoughts are the blueprint of manifestation, forming the inner architecture of the world we inhabit, while actions are the tangible expressions of those inner blueprints. When we understand and embrace this law, we gain mastery over our relational life, creating bonds that are harmonious, loving, and spiritually aligned. It is essential to cultivate awareness of the power inherent in words. The careless remark, the unkind expression, or the negative complaint carries a resonance that attracts disharmony, miscommunication, and conflict. Conversely, words spoken with love, faith, and clarity act as magnets for goodwill, understanding, and mutual support. Affirmative speech declares the truth of our highest intention, broadcasting to the universe and to those around us a pattern of energy that encourages cooperation, harmony, and shared growth. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to reinforce the principles of trust, respect, and love, and every word spoken in alignment with these principles strengthens the energetic foundation of our relationships. Thoughts, although invisible, are equally powerful in shaping relational dynamics. The mind is the seedbed of creation, and every idea, belief, or mental picture forms the framework within which experiences are manifested. Thoughts of fear, doubt, jealousy, or resentment distort perception, attract challenges, and reinforce patterns of disconnection. Thoughts imbued with faith, optimism, compassion, and understanding nurture the seeds of harmony, drawing circumstances and companions that mirror these qualities. By observing and consciously directing our thoughts, we create a fertile ground for relationships to flourish, for the mind operates continuously as a magnet, pulling toward us the reflections of its dominant vibrations. Actions are the bridge between inner consciousness and external reality. Thought and word must find expression in behavior to complete the cycle of creation. Actions performed with kindness, patience, and integrity solidify bonds, resolve misunderstandings, and cultivate trust. Even small gestures, when consistent and intentional, have the power to transform relational dynamics and reinforce a pattern of positive exchange. Conversely, actions taken impulsively, selfishly, or from negative emotion can undermine trust, create resentment, and disrupt the natural flow of connection. By aligning actions with the highest principles of honesty, respect, and love, we give tangible form to the intentions of our mind and the declarations of our speech, ensuring that the energetic currents of our relationships remain constructive and uplifting. It is also vital to recognize that this creative influence operates both consciously and unconsciously. Many interactions are guided by habitual thought patterns or conditioned responses, and these unconscious energies can subtly shape relational outcomes without deliberate attention. Developing mindfulness, self-reflection, and spiritual awareness allows us to identify these patterns and redirect them in alignment with higher principles. Each moment of conscious attention to thought, word, and deed strengthens our power to influence relationships positively, turning everyday interactions into opportunities for growth, understanding, and mutual support. The interconnection of word, thought, and action creates a feedback loop in relationships. A single word of encouragement can inspire positive thoughts, which lead to nurturing actions, which in turn reinforce the initial word, creating a cycle of harmony and expansion. Conversely, a word spoken in anger may provoke thoughts of resentment, followed by actions of withdrawal or conflict, perpetuating cycles of disharmony. By mastering this triad, we become architects of relational reality, shaping interactions in ways that honor both ourselves and others, and fostering an environment in which trust, love, and mutual respect can thrive. Recognizing the creative power inherent in daily expressions also emphasizes the importance of intention. It is not merely what is said or done, but the spirit and consciousness behind the expression that determines its ultimate effect. Words spoken mechanically, thoughts entertained passively, or actions performed without awareness carry limited influence. When intention is aligned with love, faith, and integrity, however, each expression becomes a potent force, actively contributing to the formation of relationships that are supportive, nurturing, and spiritually resonant. This awareness invites a disciplined, yet graceful approach to all interactions, encouraging consistency in alignment with principles that uplift and inspire. Furthermore, this principle extends to the larger patterns of life and the major decisions we make. Commitments, promises, and agreements are all manifestations of the energy carried by word, thought, and action. Each decision, whether seemingly trivial or monumental, sets in motion a series of consequences that shape relational reality. By approaching these decisions with conscious awareness, mindfulness, and spiritual alignment, we ensure that our contributions to the web of connection are constructive rather than destructive, fostering trust, understanding, and a sense of mutual growth that benefits all involved. By consistently recognizing and practicing this understanding, relationships transform from reactive and conditional dynamics into proactive, co-creative expressions of harmony. Words, thoughts, and actions become tools of manifestation rather than sources of limitation. And we discover that by governing our inner and outer expressions with clarity, integrity, and love, we can consciously shape the destiny of our interactions. The Spirit supports this alignment, responding to the energy we project and orchestrating circumstances, people, and experiences that mirror our inner state. In this way, mastery over word, thought, and action is mastery over the unfolding of life itself, creating a reality in which relationships are sustained by conscious, loving, and spiritually aligned influence.